This is a picture where you can see that what happens when you request a web page from your home. So this is your home. You send a request to the internet. For example, you enter the web address of a web page you want to visit in the address bar of your browser, and then that request is received the very first time. It is received by the modem. It is in your house. It is, for example, in this picture, this is a cable modem. It receives digital data. The same digital data is then sent to this uh, central cable system. This is a switching network with which somewhere around 500 houses are connected to this switch. Roughly on average 500 houses are connected, but this modem is there is one modem for each of these houses. And then when this switch sends the data, it converts the data into analog format, and then it sends this to the ISP, which is a big office somewhere or in a location other than this central cable system, a few kilometers away from this. So this ISP will have now, so this is the connection I was talking about. This connection between the ISP and the whole world, the internet world, can be through the satellite service, or it can be through what we call the internet backbone. These are undersea optical fiber cables, and these connect continents. So the cable looks something like this. It runs under the sea. So here you can see that you may have heard that our internet backbone is under maintenance, or it got broken due to some reason. So clearly you can see that it has left this Karachi region under the sea, and here probably this is UAE or something. So it comes over here, and from this cable is coming from India, and all of these cables are being connected, and they go from this African region towards the Europe, and connects to the Europe. So that is how you are getting all the internet you're getting. So and this is how they repair these cables. This is a picture for that. They have to go under the sea for repairing this cable. You will find several images on the internet when they repair the backbone, the internet backbone. So you're all of us are getting the main chunk of you can say more economical internet using these cables, which are laid down on the seabed under the sea. You know, I don't know exactly how deep it is at most of the locations. Most probably it goes near the coastal lines where the sea depth is not too much. And yeah, so this is pretty amazing. It has many layers of protection, and inside at the core it has this fiber optic, which is carrying the main internet that all of us receive. And if you uh, dig deeper, you can find out the information about each of these layers, right? So yes. Okay, so when your request for a web page reaches this network of undersea cables, it is routed to the actual location of your website somewhere in some other country. Maybe there is the website that you're looking for, and then the request is sent back the same way to your house, right? So if you have made a request for a website which is located in the United States from Pakistan, so it may take the data may be coming from like 10,000, 15,000 kilometers away. The IP address, on the other hand, is something which is a roll number for each computer, each device, each website on the internet, right? So let me write this over here. So every device, every computer, and every website has a unique, you can say, identification number called IP address. So every single entity which is connected to the internet must have a unique IP address, which they obviously do have. That's why they are being connected to the internet. And then, whereas only in the case of a website, because website is a facility for an average user to get access to this data of the website, what they do is they have given this, also an alternate uh, name. So IP address is a in number form, like it is in numbers. Like for there's an example for Google's IP address, IP version 4. So IP also has versions. The older IP address format was like this. So google.com had this, you can say, roll number 74.125.224.72, while the new IP version 6 format is bigger than the previous one. This was a smaller number. So therefore less devices could be named using these many digits. But now in the modern days, the roll number has become much larger because we have now too many people connected to the internet, too many devices. So now this is a very huge number, and more devices can be but accommodated. But one website like Google.com will only have either a specific address allocated to this. So actually, we should be calling it the other way, right? Like the IP address is given an English name, and that English name can be used by anyone in the world. It is easy to remember. It is very difficult to remember this number or this number, but it is much easier to remember Google.com. So that is why they introduced the English name for translating. And there is a computer which translates between this website and the what we call the domain name. So that is called the DNS server. DNS server translates the uh, you know domain name into the IP address into the IP address. So the IP address is basically the roll number, which and of course, as I've said, that these numbers are specific to names. So we need translation table for translating these names into numbers. So it means that the translation list must be absolutely fixed. So that is a list which is organized by a company which circulates these names to all of the people in the world using the internet. And then to organize these names even better, they have introduced what is called the top level domains. .com is used for commercial organizations or similar websites. .edu is used for by educational institutions websites. .gov are specific to government websites. .mil for military websites. .net for network providers like ISPs, and .org for not-profit organizations websites. So you have actually seen all of these or similar websites. And then what happens when you write down the name of a website in your browser? So that name is not sent to the internet. Instead, it is sent to the DNS server, and the DNS server translates the English name into the IP address, sometimes version 4 or version 6, and then it sends back this roll number to the web to the person who started this request, to us who made the request. And then our browser is going to then send this number back to the internet for retrieving the data, right? So and your question could be, where does this DNS server then is located? So the answer to that is, in our case, it will be located at the end of the ISP. So it will be in the ISP, in the building where the ISP is located. They will have a computer which will translate these names into their respective IP addresses, and the ISP will return this IP address back to us, and then the browser will send the IP address over the internet, and then you will receive the data for that website. But in order to do all of this in a single language or set of standards, we have introduced what is called World Wide Web, or web for short. It consists of worldwide collection of electronic documents called web pages. A website is a collection of related web pages. A web server is a computer which hosts or which contains the web pages or websites, so that your computer can access those websites from those files from any location. Web 2.0 refers to websites that provide a means for users to share personal information, etc. While the better definition of Web 2.0 would be that it is a set of standards for an appropriate language with which your computer can communicate with the content. So, for example, there is something called the HTML or hypertext markup language. So that language is a part of Web 2.0, and you basically your computer knows that if it has to follow the web standards, it will have to follow the languages the internet understands, right? So a browser is an application that enables users with an internet connection to access and view web pages on a computer or mobile device. Homepage is the first page that a website displays, and we also do tabbed browsing nowadays. Uh, the web address you are so fond of typing in your browsers, it has several parts. For example, the first part, the HTTP part, is called the protocol. So the last P is short is for protocol. www is the host name. It is the name of the standards that you're following. nps.gov is the domain name. It is the name that was given to your website, the computer that was holding your website. So it is short for your IP address, an alternate for your IP address. And slash history is just like when you store your files in C slash work slash. So you create folders in your hard disk. So just like that, these are folders in the hard disk of the web server. So history is a folder that is part of the path of the file places.htm. So the actual file of your website is places.htm. A web page is an application stored on a web server that you access through a web browser. The web app hosts usually provide storage for users' data and information on their servers, known as cloud storage. A web search engine is a software that finds websites, web pages, images, videos, news, maps, and other information related to a specific topic. A subject directory, on the other hand, is where you get a tree. It's a directory where you can go and look for your document or whatever you're looking for, right? So I think you will find the lecture notes for search operators in the Google Drive I shared with you guys earlier, and then we discussed and I we saw these slides that there are various types of websites out there, and you can make use of the internet in so many different ways. And what is the web publishing process? So it's a long process where you plan a website that you want to uh, release on the internet, publish on the internet. We call it publishing, just like you have your book published from a publisher, or have your you publish an article somewhere in a newspaper. So a newspaper is like a website, and it's similar to a website, and your article inside the newspaper is similar to a web page. So just like newspapers are published, or magazines, or you know all of these things are published, we also call uh, the process of creating websites and releasing them on the internet the process of web publishing. And thanks to modern tools, there are so many wonderful tools out there which allow you to create a website very easily without any problem or any you know difficulty. So okay, so I was saying that in order to publish a website on the internet, first you have to plan the website, then you have to design the website, then you have to create the website, then you have to host the website, and then maintain the website. And these are all phases in the life of a website, which are governed using the principles of software engineering. And these are all proper, tedious processes. And we actually offer courses related to different phases of software engineering in our department related to these. And then multimedia refers to any application that combines text with media. And just on a lighter note, some people they call the multimedia projector as multimedia for short. So this is something which should not be done, because a projector is a projector. It shouldn't be called anything else. Multimedia is just a type of projector, because in the old days we used to have video projectors which used to connect with the video interface of the any like video cassette recorders or video cassette players. But now we have digital media. But so you should always call a projector and not a multimedia, right? So that is why, because multimedia is just the content which is being played on on the projector. And what are different types of multimedia? Different types of media are like graphics, animation, audio, video, and virtual reality. All of these things are just types of multimedia we have. And graphic is a visual representation of non-text information, which includes different graphic formats like uh, BMP, short for bitmaps, and GIF, JPEG, PNG, TIF. These are all short abbreviations for long names, and these are there due to different compression algorithms which were invented by people. And these standards were these graphics picture formats were standardized, and now they are used everywhere. Infographic is just a visual representation of data and information. So you can use sounds and graphics and text to tell a story. And then the animation is just a series of still images played in a sequence very quickly, so that the viewer feels like that there's an object animating. Yeah, when cartoon movies are made, are they only pictures compiled together? So the answer is yes. For most of them out there, until 20 30 years back, it used to be like that they made single pictures, and they played them each picture quickly together to make the animated cartoon appear to be animating. All the Bugs Bunny and Disney cartoon series, all of them, they were made like that. But now they have computerized computer tools, software which allow you to create. Now there are softwares available for you to create animations or to create cartoon characters and animate them without the need to create individual frames. But the way those softwares are implemented and made is exactly the same. The software interpolates different frames and different points inside the frames over a duration of time, and you don't need to create every single frame for the software, right? So this is and that's why you see so many cartoons and cartoon movies out there which are so rapidly released, because they're not being made using single frames, and they're created using computer tools. You simply define a character, you define the paths the character is going to take, and the software animates that character according to that path. And audio includes music, speech, or any other sound. It is compressed to reduce file size. You listen to audio on your computer using a media player, and there's a bunch of them out there. And virtual reality is just a 3D environment which is made using computer graphics, which gives an illusion to the viewer that he is present in a 3D environment, and the person can feel like objects are coming towards or going away from him or her. So this is virtual reality. You can experience it using special uh, goggles or viewing gadgets. And a plugin or an add-on is a program that extends the capability of a browser. And this is just a piece of software which the browser allows you to write and then release into the world as plugin or add-on. So any person can download that plugin or add-on, and it can extend the functionality of your browser. And one good example is that browser is not able to yeah, so I was saying that the browser so the in the old days the browser couldn't view PDF files, but now you see that you can download a PDF plugin in Chrome or Firefox, and the browser will be able to display the PDF file right inside its own window. Internet services, email is the transmission of messages, files via a computer network. Email program allows you to create, send, receive, forward, store, print, and delete email messages. And an example of an email program is Gmail app you have in your Android phones or iOS. And similarly, email is the message that you send over using that app. And this is you know an example of how an email is sent. You compose an email on your computer, you send it to your contacts using a software on the outgoing mail server, and it is received by the internet router and another internet router, which is received by the incoming mail server, which is the Gmail server or Gmail, you can say computer remote server somewhere. And then the recipient is notified by the mail server, and the user gets the email. So, and one side note to this is that when you send an email and the email is sent, even if the receiver doesn't view the email or open the email or check the alerts or notifications, the email cannot be taken back. It is sent and it is sent. So you need to double check. Actually, you should check 5 times before sending an email that you have written the right things before you send an email. So an email list is a group of email addresses you can create as a group in your Gmail as well, to for mass distribution of a message. For example, you have 10 friends and you want to create an email list. You can do that in Gmail as well, and then you can send one email to that group, and it will be received by all the 10 recipients. uh, and similarly, instant messaging, nowadays you can see that instant messaging is out there in the form of WhatsApp, in the form of Facebook Messenger and other tools available for messaging. These allow for you to even create groups, private chat rooms or groups, and you can text in real time. And now voice is also can be sent as message. People do it all the time these days. And while chatting is although an old world in this you know our computers domain, but it used to be there for a very long time, and it used to be everywhere. People used to chat with their friends because voice communication over the internet was not really efficient or feasible. And similarly, online discussion forums are still there, and you can start a thread, you can start a topic or ask a question like Quora.com. You can ask a question on Quora, and people will start answering, giving answers to your question. You can rate their answers, and the rating, based on ratings, the answers they are sorted. So the top rated answer comes to the top. So voice over IP is a technology which lets you send your voice or video over the internet, and by we mean the internet protocol, which works using internet packets of data. They are sent from one place to the other on the internet connections. And the example, of course, are WhatsApp calling or WhatsApp video calling. And again, this is something which is mentionable because it was not there even, I think, 10 years ago. So this is something that became available recently. And then FTP is a protocol which is used to transfer files from one point to the other over the internet using the FTP protocol, which is different from the IP protocol. And the IP protocol is something which is only used for HTTP related services, while like web browsing, but FTP is for faster file uploading and downloading as compared to the web services. Many operating systems include FTP capabilities, and FTP server is a computer that allows users to upload or download files using FTP. So, a recent example is using OneDrive in Microsoft Windows. So, you can upload your files to OneDrive very quickly, and the protocol OneDrive uses is FTP as opposed to HTTP, which is used for website viewing, which is only used by web browsers, right? So, if you want to transfer your files quickly over the internet, you should use a program which is meant to transfer files over the network. You shouldn't be using a web browser. You could use a software like FileZilla. FileZilla is a software which allows you to use this FTP protocol to send data over the internet very fast. Netiquettes, on the other hand, are internet acceptable internet behavior, code of like SOPs for acceptable internet behavior. And here you can see that you can use emoticons even in emails, but they should be very well written or aptly used. Similarly, so there is a bunch of these. You can read them. You can use abbreviations, but not always. You can say recommended that you should use these things. Yeah, so that's about it. That is our internet chapter. And if there's any questions, you can ask me.